Okay.
Greetings, shalom, and peace, everyone. It is Yom Shishi, the close of the strong. Thank goodness. Um, thank you for joining us. It's been that kind of strong. Thank you for joining us in this space. Um, First, we want to open up giving all thanks and recognition and honor and praise to the Most High Yah, the creator of all in existence, the foundation of everything. It is That's why we're even here. That's why we woke up this morning, right? Also giving thanks to Chief Yuya, Jegna of this movement, which is Anu Life Global Ministries, the Anu Nation. And thank you for letting us use this space to help share and spread our understandings of the Anu way. This is Shema Anu. Shema means to listen. So, Shalom Mishpachot. Shalom is peace. Mishpachot is family or Mishpacha. And Erev Tov, good evening. Good evening to all the Anu family members joining us in the chat. Peace, Sister Munira. Peace, Brother Antonio. As always, I am Deidre for the women's reading, and I am joined. We had so much fun the last time. I am joined by Ima Akuya.
Greetings, everyone. Happy to be here once again. Thank you for having me.
You probably guys hear me like messing with fire. It's okay. Because like I said, it's been that time. Please, Sister Kashia. Yes, please hit the like button. So today we are going over. We guess what, y'all? We are still in family and courtship. We are going over the stages of courtship. And so last strong, the brothers went over the first stage. There are three stages. Last strong, the brothers went over the first stage. I shouldn't have done that because now my eyes are burning. They went over the first stage of courtship, which is discovering a common interest. And this strong will be going over stage 2. But before we go into what stage 2 is, Ima Akuya, can you please read the points of preface that everybody should know?
I most certainly can. Okay, Anu Way preface. This book is not to be read only once. Read the words of this book of knowledge aloud. Discuss the convictions of this work with your Anu brothers and sisters. Share the information with your people. This publication should be read daily. Every line in this book can be taken out of context and studied on the strength of its own potential. The truth is to be deliberated. Give thanks.
Say the last line one more time for the people in the back.
The truth is to be deliberated.
And
Give
that
thanks.
give thanks. And that is what we are doing this evening. We are deliberating. Um, so to continue, so we are still in the chapter of family and we're going over the stages of courtship. And that is a practice that we use here in Anu. That's part of our culture. So we're sharing that here with you today. And as always, you can pick up your free copy of the Anu Way on the ALGM website. Is it right side? I don't know. It's right side round. You can pick up your free copy, or you can have it printed. We had it printed. I like to like read and highlight. So it is available for free on the website with all different files for e-reading as well. So you can print a copy and you can get it as an e-reader, so you can read along. So when it comes to stage 2 of courtship, that is role identification. So you'll notice on the thumbnail and then the title of this live for this strong, this Yom Shi, we put vision and mission. And that's for a good reason, because that vision and mission falls under the role identification. So with that being said, Imakuya, will you read the selection of the Anu Way, the next passage that we are covering this evening, this Erev?
Yes. Stage 2. In stage 2, you are expressing your overall vision and mission to the woman. You are letting her know what you require and how you see her fitting into that strategy. This is the junction that is critical for women to listen with all of her minds to the man. Women, listen with your eyes and not your ears. Shall I read it again?
Mm-hmm. Let it sink in.
Stage two. In stage two, you are expressing your overall vision and mission to the woman. You are letting her know what you require and how you see her fitting into that strategy. This is the juncture that is critical for the woman to listen with all of her minds to the man. Women, listen with your eyes and not your ears.
Listen with your eyes, not your ears. Yep. All right. So let's break this down as usual. So the first two sentences. So in stage two, you're expressing overall mission and vision and mission to the woman. So why is that important? Why does that fall under role identification? Well, as we've been saying, both the brothers and the women on these readings, that our roles are different. And so, when we're coming from, that secular space of Babylon, or whatever you use to call the Western world, whatever term you use to call the Western world or secular world, or you could just say secular, there are certain there's certain programming that we've all been indoctrinated with, where we do like the opposite sometimes of what is expected. It's okay in secular settings, but when you're coming into systems that expect and move a different way, where gender roles are settled, then it's going to be different. It's going to be a change. So within our new, the role identification is important, because a lot of the times, we move, and when I say we, I'm saying we like general for secular kind of movement, secular, not kind of secular culture. There's a lot of masculinity sometimes in the way women behave. And so the truth is, like, we're inherently different, and that's a beautiful thing. Women are not the same as men, and men are not the same as women. And it's beautiful. I love being able to step into my role as a woman and embracing femininity. I have no desire to be mannish. But anyway, as I was saying, so yeah, it's the role identification, because a lot of the times that can be, confused. People can have that a little bit twisted and confused. So when it comes to our new culture and how we operate, the courtship is between men and women. And the roles are, excuse somebody's playing. It's a nice day outside, so now I have the background. I got the hostages in the back. So the roles are set, and so there needs to be like an understanding between both parties. So that is in the beginning. So like right after you have like your discovery of interest, it's like, okay, let's move to the next stage where we know what one another is expected to do, or better yet, like what the man is going to be expecting for the woman in his homestead, because he rules the roost in his homestead. And it doesn't mean that women don't have their role and spaces to lead within that home. In Anu, we have an umbrella. Everything comes from the Most High. Yah pours down through the man to the women and then the children. So everyone has their role, and so that's what we're going over. And so within that is the vision and the mission. As it reflects what we were put here to do. We're reflecting the Elohim. We're reflecting the light of Yah. Well, the man is reflecting the light of Yah. So yeah, so when you're explaining like your vision and your mission and what you are looking forward to, like in your purpose, this is really, it's connected to that heart space, that heart realm, right? Because when we I think Ema Precious and I read this a few strongs back, at this point I think it's months ago, where we talked about vision. And the purpose is hosted in the heart. It's about being a slave to your purpose. So your vision and mission should be very clear when sharing it with a potential mate. So that's pretty much what I got out of the first line. Before I move into line number two, Ima Akuya, do you want to add to that?
Sure. I would just like to add or bring attention to something that I got out of a Solutions for Dysfunctional Family Relationships, and it's in the chapter Mate Selection. But this particular paragraph on page 28, and it talks about role identification. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to read it. And I'll begin with the second sentence. Well, he talks about the balance. Balance. There needs to be a balance in the relationship, but I'll read it. This balance begins with the individual knowing their natural divine role in the context of the universe. There can be no identity crisis on the part of either man or woman. The presence of identity crisis leads to gender confusion and the aspiring of synthetic roles based on an artificial intelligence. One must exhaustively research and more significantly live out and put to practice the highest ideas of their own gender designation. The role of man or woman in a relationship cannot be merely theorized. And it that particularly resonated with me because in the marriage that I was once in, there was a gender identity crisis, that led to a lot of confusion. And I was definitely walking, in a more in a masculine space, and I should not have been. So I just wanted to, mention there cannot be any confu- confusion, in your roles, and so you kind of want to I guess I would say there's even an assessment, there's a self-assessment that I would do, when I'm getting the overall vision, from the potential mate. And then I have to really I guess assess, where I am in my headspace, because there are times where some I can be easily triggered, and that masculine, may want to rise. So I want to get that in check. But I wanted to mention that it is a crisis if you cannot, identify your gender role. So that's very important. Good, thanks.
Good things. And as you were speaking, I was like, these what we're talking about is probably very triggering, right? Especially like when we started talking about courtship in general. I'm sure there's a lot of triggers for people watching this live and our content. Yeah, as Imam Precious said before, we're really talking to our new people. And if you are interested in being our new, then great. And this is like info session for you. And it may not work for everybody, and that's fine. But this is what we do over here. Culture is the way that we do things, and this is the culture that
Yes. Yes.
you know. Not
I'm
moving
sorry, y'all. I'm
okay.
a little warm here.
Not moving into anybody else's spaces, but maintaining our own foundation. Um, the next sentence, you are letting her know what you require and how you see her fitting into that strategy. So this is why it's really it's super imperative to be clear and concise and consistent with the vision and the mission. And this is not to mean that the mission, the vision is the goal, and this is not to mean it's
I'm sorry.
I see the chat, and this is not to mean that that there may not be evolution in the mission, right? So like maybe the path that is used to get there has to shift a bit, or the mission has to be dynamic, which is fine because the truth is dynamic, right? And so the way we move, like our purpose is what we're here to do, and that's truth. So truth is ever evolving, it's dynamic. So your mission could be evolving and dynamic, but it's all to get to the end goal. So like you can be very clear and consistent about the mission. At the same time, when you are pulling in a sister to your homestead, or when we are going into the homestead, we also have to understand that there could be evolution, right? Or shifting, and we have to, keep the eye on the prize. If we know the vision, then we that this shifting is all to get to the vision. And that means like where we sit could also shift and change. But you have to be very clear, like when we are coming into a homestead, this is what it is. It's Could things be dynamic? Could things evolve and change? Probably, I won't say absolutely, because sometimes it could be like, this is what we're doing. But as long as you know the vision of the homestead that you're going into, there shouldn't be any question. There shouldn't be like a question like way down the line, unless it's like to clarify like what you need to do, or how to synchronize and be in harmony. Anything to add? Sorry, I just
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. So, well, yeah, I agree with that. And I was listening to, yes, the question comes in when the vision is being given to you, are you willing to shift? Are you willing to make some shifts because he's telling you where you fit, and what is required. But also, when listening to one of the videos about Chief, when he was talking about mating and purpose and such, uh, I also can evaluate if I actually do fit, if I would be a fit, and if that plan is viable, you know, if it is actually sustaining, and if it does relate, to your purpose as well. Um, and and if it is viable to me, then I will automatically, I will kind of magnetize myself to it, as Chief, spoke of, you
mm-hmm.
know. So I guess that would lead us later on into the sentence, but that's what I have to add for right now, if with that
Mm-hmm.
second sentence.
Yeah. Um, there was I'm glad you said like the shifting, right? Because the shifting also happens at the beginning. If you are moving one way, if you're moving one way, because most of us are used to moving in the secular spaces. So like you may have to shift if there's a particular
Mm-hmm.
brother that you want to be with, and he's
Mm-hmm.
saying the way that he moves and this is his culture, you're gonna have to
Right.
shift. Um, and if you don't want to shift, then you'll be without that brother. It's really as
Mm-hmm.
simple as that, and that's not a
Mm-hmm.
problem. Won't be with that man, and that man won't be
Mm-hmm.
with that woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what it is. Um, there was something I wanted to add, like something that I thought about. It's like when the mission the mission when the mission and the vision is relayed, and it's saying, well, this is how I see you fitting into my life and the way that I'm moving and how you're gonna ride this train, right? You may come with a set of skills, that you've, garnered in your lifetime and throughout, your movements, whether it be from your education or your job or, whatever that may be. But those set of skills, maybe he wants to bring you in, but maybe he can't necessarily use those set of skills. But he sees something else, right? Because that's the whole point. This is why the role identification is important, because he's going to say, this is the direction that I want to go in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so maybe the skills that you bring are not what is useful to him right now. And so he needs you to fit in, another way. It's no different than applying for a job. You have
Mm-hmm.
to come with the skills that they want. And how many of you have several resumes that you change up to fit their vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no difference. So when we're talking about mating and nation building and family, we should approach, our family building and nation building with that same vigor, with that same commitment that you would give to an outside person. So,
Mm-hmm.
while things could be very triggering, don't be short sighted. Like, really think
Mm-hmm.
about things that you're willing to compromise on and do. So, if you really want family and want to build nations, then you should be willing to compromise. And I know that wasn't like that is my deliberation. That was more like a, you know, gavel, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna go to the chat really quick, and then I'll post the we'll ask the question and I'll post it in the chat. So greetings everyone that has come in. Greetings to our Ridge, Kashia. Greetings Naya, Ima Sequoia. Greetings Des. Sister Kashia said, greetings, Brother Cruz. I thought I almost missed you. I almost missed you. Greetings, Sherla. Greetings, Sovereign Needs. I think I got everybody. So, Kashia says the shifts must happen. When we willingly enter a homestead, we are agreeing to come under that plan, to submit. This is why this phase of courtship is important, to discover that vision. Absolutely. Because you may remember we said it once and more, twice, and plenty other times, 2 times, 3 times, and it's all charms. Dropping gems. Courtship may not end in marriage, and that's okay because it's a period of discovery, and by the end you will have gotten to know another
Right.
person within your community. So
Right.
no problem if it doesn't end. However, there's some things you want to look at, like what are the reasons why you think you can't fit into a particular vision. That period of discovery is important because this is your time to really think and contemplate if you can come under plan, submit, or if she can come under your plan. So, and be receptive, right?
Hmm.
Um, so the question that I wanted to ask is, because we talked about shifting, would you be able to relinquish control to fit into the man's vision? So that question is really for the sisters in the chat. Um, and I think the next one will be for everybody. But this one is really for the sisters. So we want you to really kind of take that question and deliberate on it. um, okay. So I will put it in the chat. Um, Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Or maybe I'll have it scroll across the screen. So I'll do that while Ima Akuya goes into the next 2 sentences.
Okay. So the next two sentences, this is the juncture that is critical for the woman to listen with all of her minds to the man. Women, listen with your eyes and not your ears. I have to say that, I really deliberated within myself, and so I'm happy to deliberate here. Um, but it's very important to listen, and in Solutions for Dysfunctional Families, it states that your ability to listen and be the active force, is key. So, I imagine myself, um, I imagine myself when I'm hearing the vision of my potential mate. Um, what I'm listening for is, while I'm being told, where I fit or what's required, I'm really like, as I'm listening, I'm picturing my, where I'm inserted, and then from there, I guess I'm creating, within my own mind, uh, what it is that the my potential mate wants. But I'm also watching, because uh, in this stage, there's we're at the stage of dating as well. So I'm watching, what he holds his heart dear to, or what he's putting his attention to as well. So it may not, everything I may not necessarily hear verbally, but I'm hearing with my eyes, meaning I'm watching um what it is that they're doing. So that is what came to me, when reading those two. Do you mind if I read some of the
Go
what's
ahead.
going on in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Abba Cruz states he may need to prepare you also. You may have to go through a curriculum of training for a period. You may be teachable and supportive, and that is what he needs at the time, along with willingness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. Because sometimes, we as women may not know our purpose, and that is what you'll be giving us. The man will give that to us. We can come in with, talents, gifts and talents, but we may be chaotic, but you'll hone in on what it is that we need to do, and you'll bring our purpose. Emma Sequoia says, Emma Sequoia, you mentioned a woman has to gauge if a man's plan is viable. How would a woman determine plan uh if a man's plan is viable? Well, when I say viable, is it That's a good question. And maybe I can't answer, but I'm thinking of how is it sustaining? So, what I'm looking at is what do you have in place already? So, you may be talking about what it is, what your vision, what you see down the line, but I'm looking at what it is that you're putting into action currently. And if you haven't put that into action, then your plan isn't viable. So while it may not be fully carried out, but there are steps that you're taking already, and there's a system that you already have in place. So if you're telling me your vision, but it's not active, then it isn't viable. I hope that answered your question, sister.
Willingly. There's some other chatter. So Kashia says, absolutely, attempts to being in control has led me to being confused and tired. The need to control comes from fear. With our new trust and hierarchy exists. The man controls, and I do no fear. Yeah, I'm controlling. I like to be like, I like to know what's what, when it's where. If it's
Yeah.
not what it be, I got an issue with it, and those are things that I had to come through because it just creates like high blood pressure. um,
Yeah.
um, and
I've been in that place
yeah,
where I felt the need to be in control, and I was absolutely frustrated and tired. So but that's something that I'm still learning to relinquish. While still having a covering, I do recognize, some areas that, there's some residual, but I find that, I find that I get absolutely nowhere. I find that I get absolutely nowhere. So um,
yeah.
I can relate to that, Sister Kashia.
Because you know the other thing, it don't change what happened. It don't change anything. So it's like,
No, it doesn't.
yeah.
No.
I remember like some years ago. This is pre I knew. I asked a friend, I was like, "Do you think I'm controlling?" She's like, "I don't think you're controlling." She's like, "I think you like to be in control of what you do and what you do." And I was like, "Yeah, that's right."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I was like, "That's the way we explained it away. I'm not controlling. It's just like I want to control my space, but
Hmm.
coming into my space,
Yes. You coming into the brother's universe.
so
Oh.
got to
And
remove."
yes. And here's something I had to think about. If I'm coming into his universe, then he's maintaining me. That is something that I had to really think about as well. Because a lot of women talk about what it is that they want a brother to do. You know, well, know that you're entering into his space and he's going to be maintaining you. So, you know, think about think about it. I guess think about your is it really worth being, do you really need to be in control? Is it worth that, that fight? Um, I don't know how to articulate it as much as I like, but I know this. I do not want to maintain things that I don't need to maintain. So yeah, so if you the master of the universe, I'm willing to
Right.
roll
It's like
with it. So
what I'm responsible for. Let me. My square over here. And
yeah, yes.
here's the thing. It just I'm looking at the chat and I see that because she has said when trying to control every first Sequoia says Toda Ima, thank you for that clarity about the viability.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Kashia says, when trying to control everything, there's little time to be a woman and cultivate the qualities within that role. And you know what? Here's the other thing. You can control it is in your realm to control as a woman. Like nobody's saying that you like sitting with like a collar around your neck and a ball and chain, like master. Nobody's saying
Yeah.
it is about
Yeah.
acknowledging what your capabilities are because women should be capable in the role of a woman. That's our realm. And I'm happy to
Yes.
sit in it. And you can
Yeah. Nothing's. Yeah. If
you
you
know
want me to expand it, oh, you giving me. You saying here, take it. Oh, thank
yeah
you. Thank you
right.
for putting
It
that in
doesn't
my hand. Yes.
businesses and are entrepreneurs. it is just clarifying like how we move within those positions as women. That's it.
Yes.
Um,
Peace, Chief.
yes, greetings, Chief. Um, I want to make sure I catch all the comments. So Sovereign Eat says viability, I think, is in the statement that it is critical for the woman to listen with all of her mind, processing what you see him build and accomplish versus what he says or proclaims. Absolutely. That's it. It's like, you I'm gonna have 10 houses, over in Monaco, and France. I'm just naming countries. I'm gonna have 10 houses. Okay, well, what are you putting in place? How do you have investments to like grow funds to be able to afford
Yes.
these? Do you
Yes.
been over to those places and research what real estate and land looks like? Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what it calls for to purchase property in another country?
Mm-hmm.
All of those,
Mm-hmm.
that is where the viability comes in, and that is what
Mm-hmm.
we're supposed to be doing. Women are the problem reporters, so if we see a problem, you know
Mm-hmm.
report it. Which brings me to another question as people are coming in. um um I think it's a good time to get to it now. Would you, as you, because remember, this is courtship. So as we're learning, and even as Brother Cruz said, like we may have to be repaired. So this is a question for both the brothers and the sisters in the chat. Would you cut ties or report the problem or discrepancies to support your potential mate? So that's for a man or a woman, to support your potential mate to be great. Sorry, I didn't finish the sentence. Would you cut ties or report the problems or discrepancies that you see, to support your potential mate to be great? And there's only one answer, so I guess it's a trick question. There's only one answer. Peace, Chief. Looking to make sure the questions. Okay, no more questions. It's just greetings. Okay, great. Chief, you asked exactly. Monte Carlo ain't cheap, even the ones from France. And I don't know that. I was just pulling countries like, I don't know what anything looks like over there, but I'm sure it ain't cheap.
So even Sequoia said there's no need for a woman to want to maintain control when the man is leading a submissive woman. Leading a submissive woman would naturally follow. And I was thinking, I was like, well, at the point of stage 2, we've passed stage 1. We've met the mark, in stage 1. And so if the brother, I'm assuming that if the brother is telling me his overall vision, there's some things that he has seen, that he's discovered about me where he sees me fitting. And there are some things, as well, that I see that I feel that I can maybe fit into. So at that point, and in stage 1 is that discovery. And in that discovery, we're going over, maybe flaws or things that we need to work on. Moving into stage 2, we're beyond that. And, I'm just use myself as an example, may not necessarily feel like there's this control that I need to, that there's this control that I need to hold on to, because it's been discovered. Okay, you need to work on this. I did that, and now we're in stage 2. So I don't need to relinquish anything because we put a handle on it in stage 1.
Ding,
you
ding,
know.
ding. These are all trick questions. These are all trick questions. Because if you're in stage 2 and you have a problem relinquishing control, that means you did not share everything
Right,
first.
right, right. And that's important when you talk about sharing, because Chief said, if you find yourself, oh, wait a minute, I have to look for it. Move on. You can go ahead. There was something I was talking about, and he was saying, oh, he was just talking about, you know, once you've grasped the authenticity of your own inner truth, you can use the truth as a standard to gauge others by. But I'm sorry, previous to that, he was just saying, if you don't want to reveal anything about yourself, then kind of like don't put yourself in a situation if you're not going to, share yourself, but you want others to share it as well. And that's just going back to the discovery that you're talking about. Those are things that we needed to discover. You got some issues with control, bring that out in the beginning stages so that
Mm-hmm.
can be worked on.
Yeah, because guess what? Maybe he don't want to be fixing your issue with control. So
Oh wait, look what Chief says. He says you wouldn't feel the need to hold. Where do you go? Wait a minute. Okay, you wouldn't feel the need to hold on to any control because you would be coming in with a covering already. That brother is still subject to the regulations of your covering. Ah, I like that. So I can be like, Daddy, he said blah blah blah. What you think?
yeah. Let's give that some context, right? So in our new we have a covering initiative. So that would apply for all the
Mm-hmm.
are going to be going into courtship with other Anu brothers. We're already under this covering initiative, so they will that those are the regulations they'll have to operate under. And when it comes to younger women, like for when as families are born into Anu for the children, those young girls are under the covering of their father. So those are the regulations that. Sorry, that was Alexa. So those are the regulations that a potential mate who's looking to court that young woman would have to go under. So yeah, so that even goes back to Ima Sequoia's comment, like
You
with
don't
this,
need to.
I have to relinquish control.
I
Um,
can see her.
to, yeah. And Brother Antonio says the idea of maintaining control comes from the fact that many women are uncovered. That's why I asked the question when we're talking about women who are uncovered.
Mm.
Maintaining control comes to the fact that many women are uncovered, and this has become perceived as being normal, right? Because that's how I was moving. But the truth is, you'll have a man. I'm like, I'm happily single. Secretly, they want a man. Let's just stop the lies. Like I don't have time for it. So, and some people maybe they are happily single. Good for them. But for those of you who are faking it, who are pretending, just come on out. Just come on out and say what's wrong. Say what's wrong. Tell mama what's wrong. Um, uh, Sister Shirla says, relinquishing control. I feel I can allow to be less burdened, allowing for that true beauty of woman to emerge and place that energy where it's supposed to be. For example, money, children, and subservient to her mate. Can you explain this? This is true, Sister Sheila. I think that's Sister
Yeah,
Sheila.
she's saying you're no longer burdened when
Right.
when
Okay.
you
All
release
right.
it. Hmm. Yeah, and then you're free to move, like you said earlier. You're free to move in your femininity. You're free to move in your womanhood. So yeah, hand me what you need me to hand me, and I can work with that. Thank you very much, and then I'll report back to you like with this good stuff.
This reminds me of I've been watching reruns of A Different World, and there was one episode where Whitley was like, "Relax, relax, release, relax." I think it was like Debbie Allen or somebody was like, "Yes, I'm showing my age, but whatever." Different World is cool, and it's on Netflix or one of them things. Um, if that's what it is, relax, relate, release, and you are freed up to be and feel like a woman. If there's no blockages in the way. The other part is, we had movies like Waiting to Exhale. This is the exhale. This is the exhale. So I wanted to just like add that. Greetings, Maxine. Thank you for joining us. Shalom. Do we miss any comments? No. Okay. Everybody's just continually agree. Who is happily single? I don't know that. Listen, you take one session on Clubhouse, there's a lot of proclamations of being happily single. It's like, okay. Um, Chief Yuya says, if you are still fixed on control as a woman, you won't be gifted with a mate. While
Mm.
controlled and moved, its malleability is its great value. Men scope that at first glance. So you can sit there, talking about how independent and da 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 da, and be lonely eating a pint of ice cream on Yom Shishi. So, um,
All by your lonesome. I mean, come on, women, we've done that. You know, we've been there. Admit it, like she said. Just say what the problem is. Yeah, I was eating ice cream all by myself. Hmm.
would you rather be eating with a family?
I want a family,
Mm-hmm. It's much
and
better.
it's gonna be sherbet and not dairy ice cream. That is. I'm just being silly.
Well, no, you can have nice cream. So remember, check out Sister Mox's channel, Sovereign Eats, and
Right.
on nice cream. So you can have that creamy, but I'm not doing that right now. I'm juicing, so I'm not going to talk about anything creamy right now. Sorry, everyone. Um,
I
so
wanted to ask a question that was not we didn't put in the chat, but if you don't mind.
go ahead.
Women, the last sentence that says women listen with your eyes and not your ears. And my question is, what would you be listening for with your eyes? What are you looking for? What are you listening for with your eyes? They eating that ice cream with olives.
Delay. There's a delay. I always forget. Please
Yes.
be patient with us. There's a little bit of a delay. So, like, we're reading your questions like 20 to 30 seconds behind you putting them in because you're commenting 20 to 30 seconds behind us. So, but we'll get it together. So,
Uh-oh.
can you just say your question again and I'll put it in the chat?
The last sentence in our paragraph states, women listen with your eyes and not your ears. So, women, what would you be listening for using your eyes? What are you listening out for with your eyes?
Okay. So I'll put it in the chat. So it's excuse me, for us to deliberate on a little bit further. So regarding the listening with the eyes, I wanted to, because we kind of, and the minds, right? We kind of talked about it before, and it kind of goes back to the you're paying attention. So I believe Sovereign Eats brought it up during one of the other Shemas that men focus on our minds while we focus on their heart. Women focus on heart, men's heart. And when we think about like listening with all of our minds to the man, it made me think about like listening, like paying attention to his heart, because you're listening to that vision. Remember, the purpose is seated in the heart. So that's kind of like what I thought of. I don't know if I like could like break it down more than that, but just like, just as we were talking, it was like, oh, well, if we're listening, I guess this is me, like, I'll take the first crack at answering your question. Like, what are you listening out for with your eyes? It is kind of like how we talked about, what are you seeing about the vision? What has been manifested, or what is being manifested as you're going through this courtship, and you're seeing it acted out so that you can gauge what's happening, so you can gauge the mission and the vision, and really begin to understand, like, why your place will be what it is, and how you can focus on that. I think my volume's low, but it's as high as it's gonna get, so I will just speak louder.
Someone said, do you sound low?
Yes, and willingly you can hear me a little bit better. I have a whole tech thing going on, so I get messages all over the place. So
I'll
willingly,
read.
go ahead.
I was going to say, do you want me to go to the chat?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. So, Des says, but seriously, to answer the questions, actions in big caps, body language, display of evidence. Chief says, your eyes calibrate your emotional compass. What we hear becomes our facts. What we see becomes the evidence of our faith. Muted observation urges introspection. Chief always be going deep. I have to like read it 50 million times,
Yeah, I'm
and
like,
then break down each word and look in the dictionary and
I
then
literally see the
read.
deliberation, the brain like a
Yes.
little smoke right here, just a little bit, and I was like,
Okay, Maxine says, what a man has built that aligns with the vision he has, and that he practices what he preaches, which means my own integrity must be intact. And then Sister Kashia says, it is okay. It's just the intersection of both you guys. Mike said, oh, okay. Mike said once. She talking about the mics, the sound. Okay, thank you.
okay.
What a man has built in. Okay. So, I once asked Emma Sequoia, can you chime in? And the only reason why I asked you that is because I asked what is it that you look out for, and you gave some really good answers, and one that stuck with me the most was what he what he gives his most attention to. Chief, knock off what? You was smart, you was kind, you was important.
Don't need the pie.
Uh,
You kind.
knock it off.
Important.
All right.
I know. I was like, huh? Like I literally had like a moment. Well, I need some of that muted introspection.
Okay. Yeah, so Sister Sequoia, she said what she watches for is what her consort gives his attention to, and then she's able to see what's important to him, and that kind of like that's how she, I guess, hones in on, what's going on in his heart. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ema Sequoia, but that's an answer that you gave that really stuck to me. And that is listening with your eyes and not your ears. So I'm imagining what he's doing, or what he's yeah what is it he's giving his attention to. I don't know, it could be he's starting, I don't know what it is, a project that he's, I don't know, because I'm not made it, and last experience I wasn't paying attention. So Emma Sequoia, if you could chime in on that one.
I'm sorry. You can't catch me hard like that. But you are in a covering initiative. So you
Oh, excuse me, yes, I am in a covering initiative, and there are some things that I've listened to with my eyes and ears. Thank you for reminding me.
no problem.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go to the chat. So Ima Sequoia says, I would say you're observing to see what a man puts his heart into. You will observe many things in doing this. And what did we talk about that purpose, like where it lies?
Mm-hmm.
Heart. Um Brother Cruz says, "Can you state the second question once more, please? I was looking for it in the chat. So I willingly, it's the one that you're talking about now. What are you listening out for your eye with your eyes? And you know what? I will shift it a little bit. I will even kind of format it for the brothers. Like, what are you expecting women to look for with their eyes for when you're looking at or courting potential mates? I don't know if that was coherent.
How about in the previous paragraph it says that, during a specific the first stage is a time when the man must listen with all his intelligence to the woman. So what are you listening? What are you hearing? You moving that into the second stage. What are you listening for?
Okay. Give thanks.
Eyes calibrating your emotional compass sounds special. I would like to understand.
Do we have any more in the chat?
Kashia says you can look for seasonal changes as well. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that question, to see if that male's actions matches the vision.
Um, this chat's moving fast. Sorry. Um, she answered it beautifully in our women build. State the second question. So, Brother Cruz, I just put another question for the men in the chat. So willingly that'll be helpful for you. Des says eyes calibrating. Oh, she's quoting Chief's words, and she would like to understand. I think there's a podcast on that, and I think as we were speaking, we kind of touched on this a tiny bit in previous Shemas, right? It's something like you just said about it'll come to me. And it literally was right here, and then I went to the chat, and then when I said move over, so it's literally somewhere else, but it'll come back. Kashia says moving, of course, it was really insightful. I took notes on that for sure. Ema Sequoia. I don't know what Camusian is. I'm sorry. You can look for those seasonal that was it, the seasonal changes. We talked about this, and I think it was still in family, like early on.
Mm-hmm.
Why it was when we talked about the length of time for the courtship, right?
Yes.
Span at least 2 seasons, I think it was, because you get to see how someone, behaves, because some people are, they seasonal affect disorder or whatever you want to call it. Some people do think it's just a construct, or but you kind of get to see, like, if someone is, melancholy in one season, or like the life of the party in the next, and like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you adjust, or do you want to deal with that kind of mood shift, or do you work with that person? Do you have the time? If it's the man, do you have the time to work with that person to kind of go through what the source of those mood shifts, are, and why that happens? And because that may not be something that fits in the household. Because remember, we talked about also time being our most precious commodity, and how much time may someone want to spend on figuring out your attitude problems, right? So the
Mm.
other part is, go ahead, you want to say something?
I was going to say, Chief said, what you see affects what you hear. So it's a divine coincidence that light travels faster than sound.
Yeah. So like lightning, right? You kind of, like, if it's like little, that the next the rumble might not be, so it'll be like boom, right? But when it's like a huge flash, you are expecting that boom crack, boom pow after.
Mm-hmm.
um because that flash of light, it sets the tone for what you're expecting to correlate with the auditory. I believe it's that's what you're saying, Chief.
What you see affects what you see
Right.
affects what you hear. So I can see something, and you may say something that's supposed to correlate with your action, but your action is saying something totally different than what it is that you're saying. So you can be telling me, I don't know, I love you, but you treat me a certain way. So when I hear I love you, I'm hearing something totally, your action is saying something totally different than what it is that you're saying. That's how I got it. Tell us if we right or wrong, Chief. Tell us.
Right. We smart. We that kind of frog boy. Um. Oh, okay. That was also answering Dez's question about like getting more information. Emma Sequoia says.
The sound effects are something else. Boom, pow. I guess gunshots would be pew, 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 pew,
Yeah,
pew, pew,
yeah.
pew,
And
pew,
then the bubble would say pew. And Batman hit
pew,
me.
pew, pew.
Yeah.
No,
um,
it's rat a tat tat, Chief. It's rat a tat tat.
yeah. So see here, right?
Okay, wait. So let's go back. Let me go back to okay, so Emma Sequoia, when listening with your eyes, you learn that man. You learn the things he loves. You learn his passions, motivations, what he values, what hurts him. You know the way you say that, Emma, is just like you just like enjoy listening with your eyes. Like there is this, the way you put it, there's this like this love that you have, when as you put forth effort in listening, and you just get these awesome results. You're like, and you're saying you're learning about your man. There's nothing that he necessarily needs to say to you, because sometimes women fight, want to fight men. So what are you thinking? What's on your mind? But
Mm-hmm.
really, if you just watch your man, you get a sense of, better sense of an understanding of who he is. That's what I'm imagining. So you just put that in such a way that makes me want to listen
I
with
think
my eyes.
so. It takes me back to an earlier part in the section on, or the chapter on family, when I think it's under generational curses, when it talks about love and respect and discipline. So it's like
Mhm.
the way you said that, you were like, the way you say that, it's when we're free to be women, like we can,
Mhm.
be free to have that love that's internal project to the out,
Mhm.
and what you're
Mhm.
seeing, that portrayal of respect and discipline. So
Mhm.
yeah, give
Yeah, I give thanks, because I don't have this down pat, but to deliberate is freeing, as well, because I'm learning this thing just like you all are,
yeah,
so
that's
I appreciate the dialogue.
some things are what they are, and I think like there's
Mhm.
no mistaking what our culture is. Um, Yet the major what we are doing here is deliberating. So this is our
Mhm.
live deliberation about what we're reading in Shema. Like, because what were the words? Is to be what?
I don't know what you trying to say. You want me to read the preface again?
Yes,
I don't know. Say it.
the
Just say
last
it.
the last
The
line.
truth is to be deliberated.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let me read what
So
Brother Abba Cruz said.
yes.
Okay. Do I have a clear vision and path towards it? Do I have a plan of action for what I need my consort to assist with? These are two main paths of thought that my potential mate should
Wait.
deliberate. Should
Path.
like I
Path.
should be quite okay.
Oh wait, should is the end. Okay, these are the main paths
Hmm.
I thought that my potential mate should. Brother Cruz, let us know if that was the fullness of what you wanted to put, because I think we're reading it wrong. We are not.
So
We are
I'm
not
trying to.
today.
Yeah, it looks like he's saying I'm measuring or weighing the viability. Sounds like he's saying I'm questioning. Do you have a clear vision and path towards it? Do you have a plan of action for me? As the that you need for me to assist you with. So but it says in stage 2, you are expressing your overall vision and missions to the woman. So you would be telling me, and then I'm going to evaluate, its viability, or I'm listening for the viability,
Okay.
if I
Yeah.
understand you correctly. Lo, the scholar, I'm going to skip down. Peace. I'm listening for softness, kindness, wisdom, respect, and in a better way, inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yep, because that was from Last Strong, the part one, stage one.
Hmm.
Chief says the sound effects is something else. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did that one. Then he
um.
said that's because you from West Side, that rat a tat tat.
Right. Tommy guns and stuff. Makes me think of Roger
I'm
Rabbit.
trying to think who said rat a tat tat. I was thinking Missy Elliott. She's not from the West Side though. I
I
don't
don't know.
know. It
Roger.
doesn't matter.
I mean, like the weasel. We had he was here. We got a tip from South Carolina. South Carolina. I don't know what he said to this day. That was
All
from West
right,
Coast.
West. That was West Coast. All
Mhm.
right, Sister Des. Women are emotional, and as least for me can be easily swooned by words, but listening with your eyes, the first level of input allows you to readjust your emotional compass in preparation. So, yeah, that's true. The thing is that have we is the proof in the pudding? Have we even practiced that? I think he said something like, "We can't merely theorize it." I want to be able to be in this space where, like, that I'm actually walking that out.
Mhm. You know what? This reminds me of another Shema where we talk about when we like to make up the story that we want to hear, like because
Mm-hmm.
we're not listening fully, and so then we make up the scenario. I can't remember which one.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been the one that when we were talking about, do you like me? You know, um, we make up the scenario in our head, and then the only thing that happens after that is heartbreak because we really truly didn't listen. We only saw, we only heard what we wanted to hear, but because we weren't using more than one somatic sensory,
Mm-hmm.
we get part of the story. We only
Mm-hmm.
part of the story.
That's true. That's what happened to me in my marriage. I was swooned. I was, whatever he was saying to me was, it seemed right. But in one of the videos that Chief spoke on, he said women tend to join with men who have no purpose and plan, and if he has no purpose and plan, then he has no goal and responsibility for you, and that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. No goal and response, no plan, and it is because I was not listening with my eyes. Yeah. If I would have listened to my eyes, I would not have gotten into that situation.
And you know what? I want to like give like you. I guess I don't know. I guess this would be flipping it. Sometimes we can where
So,
sometimes in the
mhm,
secular spaces, how many of you in the chat have not, you're moving in this way, you didn't listen with your eyes and you didn't see if the plan and the vision was viable, right? And so because you were just listening with your ears or like one part of your senses, you only took in part of the story. So what you didn't see is that there was no real mission or plan. So I want to be fair and honest and like give it like a 360 view.
mhm, mhm,
That you can also like listen and there is no mission or plan. Like I will say that's
mhm.
because the mission and the vision is required over here. But
Yes.
I wanna, like because I want to like get into like why something may be triggering because people are not, if you're coming in and you're not in our new, you're coming in from a different mindset. So then the
Mhm,
back would be, well, I was doing this and he didn't do that. Well, he's not our new. So like this is, another
mhm,
why we do this because this is to show you, what we do is much more sane than kind of being out in the zeitgeist and just aim roaming around.
mhm.
So
It is more sane, and you can, and if marriage doesn't happen, you can walk away and not be mad, but you've just you've gained knowing a brother or sister. Because so I like that. It is more sane. Uh, I'm gonna go to. Let me see, brother Low. It depends on the weapons. Oh, it can go pew pew, pop pop, rat a tat tat, flocka, and boom. Okay,
wait,
he talking about the whole rat a tat tat gun. We just answering late. That's what that
right.
is. Okay, so let's go to Chief. Think about a movie. If you watched a horror film on mute, it would still be scary. Listen to it with no picture and see if you are still frightened. You won't be. Now apply that brain science. All
Yeah,
right,
I've done
all
that.
right.
I like scary movies, which is a problem, and I have done this. Like I'm like, if I just watched it, it didn't work. But I have sat and like been like, I guess I just
Okay.
like with
Mhm.
watching it. You can't.
Mhm.
I don't know.
So you would close your ears?
I have done that. I have done that, like thinking that, but this. I mean,
I
yeah.
close my
And
eyes
I'm
on scary stuff.
still ingesting that visual, which could
Mhm.
so again, it's like that half a story. You're still taking in a piece of it. But yeah, if I was listening to it, because what if it's a book? Like for example, like I do audiobooks. They're never nearly. They're not. It doesn't come across the same way as a film would. So yeah,
Mhm.
personal experience.
Mhm. Okay, Kashia, she's quoting from Anu Way. The women of Anu are capable and ready to meet the work of their life with joy, without grunt or yelps of dismay. Yeah, she be digging in that Anu Way word and finding wonderful quotes.
This could include listening with my eyes to study my mate. The quote. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yes, because are you capable of using more than one somatic sensory
Hmm.
ability, somatic ability? I don't know. Sequoia says, I can see why credibility is so important and hypocrites are frowned upon.
Frowned upon.
Frowned upon. I lost the feed. Hypocrites are frowned upon.
Mm-hmm.
The silent picture nods to Lotus Scholar said a silent picture nod. Chief says, fun fact: hyenas yelp. They are matriarchal and despise lions. In reference to the quote Kashia posted.
Mm.
It literally, it literally was like the light bulb as I was like,
Yes.
oh, yeah, they do. I watch, a lot of National Geographic sometimes, and they do.
Make that noise again. Make that noise again.
No. Yeah, the lions like their mortal enemy, and nation builders are lions. I don't know about y'all. I ain't no hyena. I'm a lioness. So you can be with the hyenas if you want to. Brother Cruz says, is she condescending to my vision? Has she prepared herself mentally for the managing of the homestead? Does she display selfishness or possessive attributes that will hinder the support needed? Yeah, these are things to pay attention to. And this is kind of going back into that, like, if you're at red stage 2 and you still have an issue with some of these
things, I'm thinking like you shouldn't, like that stuff should be visited. But maybe it'll come out in stage 2 as well. She condescending to my vision.
I'm just like thinking like that. I have a PhD.
Okay, so when a man is giving the overall vision and mission, and I'm listening, so then what I respond and and say I can see myself doing that, like, yeah, and then with this project you want to do, I can see doing this or that or the other. So that it's not, my question is, it's not one-sided dialogue, right? Like he's expressing what it is, and I'm saying I can get with that. Would that be the response?
I mean, I don't think that there's a one canned response, but I think, yeah, like, I mean, you are like, I could get with that, but he'll hearing, and if he's listening with all his intelligences, he'll be discerning and be able to decipher what's in that. I could get with that. Is it like I could get with that without the word think, you know what I mean? So like, I think, but when it comes to like, if there's condescension, like immediately what I thought of is like, for example, like I have multiple degrees. And me coming into a space like, well, because I have this degree, I know more about something. And it's like, you shouldn't do it that way. I think it should be, that's condescending. There's a mission and a vision. And if my mission is doing it this way and you seeing me manifest, I don't need the input. It's okay. Like, it doesn't mean that they can't learn, but it may be some passive learning, because based on what our skills are and what we bring or what they send us to learn. But it doesn't mean that, I'm coming all knowing just because I certified that, because those degrees come from a different space. Yeah, it helps me move in one way, but not all aspects of it help me move within nation building, right?
You know who was really condescending? Tracy towards Spencer in the book.
Thank you for bringing that up, because we had a whole conversation about Spencer and Tracy when we were talking about this, and it goes into like the role identification.
Totally, yes.
It's so interesting because they were moved. Their roles were reversed. Spencer was very like feminine. Like he depended on Tracy for everything. Effeminate, sorry.
Yes.
And he depended on Tracy for everything. And you know what? In the secular space, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. We're saying that in our new, that's not the way that we move. So when he did I guess, find himself. And we're talking, we're
I'm
talking
sorry.
about
I'm reading what Chief said. I'm sorry, guys. Forgive me.
we're talking about solutions for dysfunctional families. Sorry
Yes.
to give context. When he did, find himself, and that actually propelled him to step into his role as a man. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
work. So this is
Mm-hmm.
why the role identification is important, because it may not translate well to other
Mm-hmm.
other systems, right? Even though
Mm-hmm.
most other cultures in the world stage are patriarchal, a lot of them are patriarchal. Maybe I shouldn't say most, but there are a lot. So it's not a foreign concept, but it's not necessarily the concept here in the West. It's
Mm-hmm.
we're equal and we can do everything. And I'm gonna be honest, I can't do everything a man can do. I can do a lot, but it's not necessarily the things that men can do. And I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
Mm-hmm.
being different. So I can't do the things that you can do, Laquita.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do some of the things that I can do. That means we're different. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so LOL, yikes to the yelping. That was interesting. I was like, oh, I literally, like, you saw, like, it was like a dimmer. It just got bright and about. Oh, I get it. Brother Antonio says, when I observe with all my intelligences, I watch her relationship with her elders.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Her sensitivity to changes in her environment and ability to be flexible. Is she lazy? Does she have an attitude? Mm-hmm. Who said deliberated? Oh, so I guess, is that finishing from the top, that she should have deliberated?
Okay.
Brother Lowe says that's laughing yelp can be haunting, and okay, so the laugh and the yelp is the same thing. That's what I was doing. That was
There you made that noise. Do that noise again. Do it again.
um Des
Yeah, the brat said rat a tat tat. Des, that's right. That's not West Coast, Chief.
I thought the brat was West Coast.
Is she West
Yeah.
Coast? I didn't even know she was West Coast. I thought she was
Oh
East
wait,
Coast.
I think you're right. I'm thinking rough and stuff with my Afro puffs.
Yeah.
Rage. Sorry,
Lady
I
Rage.
rage. Yeah.
Chief,
Well.
Chief, Chief back on. Listen here. Look at Chief. There was a song on the Chronic named Rat a Tat Tat. So I heard, I only listen to African drums and Buddhist chants. Chief be taking me off track. He take me off track. Okay, I'm sorry, sis. My bad.
No
Let's
need
catch up.
for deep cover soundtrack. It's like 187. 187 on the something something something.
Yeah, 187 on a something
So I
something.
heard.
Is that? But that's with Snoop Dogg in it, right?
I think I
It's
don't
a
know.
lot of 187 stuff. Anyway,
Police talk.
sheesh.
I don't know. It's not mean murder, homicide. I mean,
187. Mm-hmm.
okay. Hit the like button. Yeah, this is a good one. Um,
Okay.
this is a banger.
Let's get down. Kashia, I close my ears too. My imagination runs wild, so I cannot hear it.
Okay, so hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it. I try it. I watch a lot of movies. Chief US says watching a movie with your eyes closed is stoner behavior. I'm just going to tell you just one time. If you want to keep working here, stay off. Coming to America. If you want to keep working here, stay off. Like they threw a pigskin through a big H. No, I have not watched it with my eyes closed. I said I listen to audio books. I said I've tried it with my ears closed, but oh no. Okay. Condescension can also be you trying to be a pilot. You really trying to fly plane. Yeah, why would you question? Why would you question? Yeah. You really trying to fly planes? Ain't that what I said?
Oh, like the woman don't believe that that's what you really trying to do. Like
Really
for
trying to
real. Oh, you know what? Thank you because I have a tendency to do that. Like someone, and it's not even intentional. Like for real, that's what you're trying to like. It is condescending
So
because in my
that's
mind, like I didn't
interesting.
know you had it, in your
Yeah,
brain to do that. So thank you for the
yeah,
example. I'm gonna be
yeah. That
mindful of that.
have I done that and not thinking that it was,
Mhm.
it was more like, oh, that's interesting. You really want to do that, but
Mhm.
you see, we have to know how the other half perceives things, right?
Mhm.
How it's understood, or like how when we deliver, how it's received. That's important.
Mhm.
Internal is going to come into the external, so we have to be very intentional and mindful about when we speak. I can
Yeah,
get
that
into
was
that
good.
language.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah, no, because when I think about it, like I'm thinking about just my responses to people. Because in my mind, when I respond that way, I'm thinking, oh, so you have that intelligence to do that, and I'm not even realizing that that's what I'm doing. So I appreciate that.
Give thanks.
You
Um,
are right. Innuendos. Oh, Brother Lowe, the brat is West Side Chicago. Okay, she
uh,
West Side, but Chicago.
Chicago. Okay. The brat don't have a monopoly on restaurants. Listen, ain't take
We
rat a
still
tat
on
tat.
rat a tat tat.
That rat a tat tat for me is Roger Rabbit, the weasels. They had Tommy gun.
Yes.
We heard the rat.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a tip. Rat
Okay. The brat is from Chicago. Rage is from Virginia. So I heard, of course.
Oh, you know what?
Lady Rage is from the VA?
I don't know rappers. Okay, well,
I didn't know. I rocks rolled into my ass bus. Okay, let's go. Come on, sis. Let's read down. We playing.
the brat is from Chicago. Rage is from. Oh, you just read that. Sorry.
Yeah.
187. I don't know what 187 means. I'm sorry. Brother Cruz says deliberated was about your fill in the blank preface.
Okay, Abba Cruz.
I think when we asked about the comment after should, if just thumbs up in the chat because I think we're just late on the comments. Chief says
Okay.
y'all try to discern over.
He said it's like he said y'all try to desert old rap artists like two grandmothers discussing paprika or not. The potato salad. Stay in your minute. Man, Chief. All right. So he said, Master Antonio, that is a reaction of a feeble mind. Tell a potential suitor that you want 10 city buildings. If the response is for what are you going to do with all that? They are exposed. Okay. All right. You want 10 city buildings. So I'm like, so my response is, okay, you want offices in there? You know, what do you want to do with these buildings? That should be my response. You know, I'm
or
asking.
like you trying to be a real estate mogul? That's your
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
Yeah, let's do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Never mind. We gonna
You
cut.
want 10 city buildings. I'm thinking about that.
I
Like
have
10 downtown LA city buildings.
what kind of buildings? Apartment buildings. We gonna get
Yeah, what buildings you want?
some office buildings.
How high you want them?
You want to get some WeWork people in there? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Pandemic might have changed WeWork. I don't know. I have not kept up. Chief Yes says, so what you may see as condescending is really them showing that their vision may be tiny.
Mm.
And then you can school them. Yeah, pilot. Because you know what? Pilots get to see the world. The network that will be opened up to me, like maybe I'll fly private planes and I'll have a network of, a certain clientele, and that will open me up to this space because then I can get my houses in my
Well, you know what? He said something too, because if Chief said, so what you may see as condescending is really showing that their vision may be tiny. So that means that the woman's vision for her man is small. So like you can't even see how big it can get. Is that what you're saying, Chief? Because
them showing that their vision, yeah. So what
mm-hmm,
you may see as condescending is really them, I guess, the woman showing that their vision may be tiny, because we have a purpose too, and mission and vision. So if
mm-hmm,
your own vision is tunnel, or like with blinders on, and you're with somebody who's like, out here and
mm-hmm,
dynamic and like, moving and popping, and you like really you questioning everything, it's probably because you here, you tunnel vision,
mm-hmm.
right here with it. Don't look left, don't look right, go straight to jail, don't pass go, don't collect $200.
Mm-hmm. Chief says a woman's best response is always yes, master, and a man's best response is I got this.
Okay.
Booyah.
Boom.
Boom.
Small minded, right, Ima Sequoia? Yep.
That was good.
Okay.
All right,
um
sis. So you want to close us out or, anybody?
we do have a woman call after this, with the sisters. So, as always, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the lively discussion in the chat. We were like,
It's
but
always a
it
treat.
is such a treat, and it's so fun to close out the strong. All that
Mm-hmm.
movement, that external movement, is so fun to close it off this way, so that when we move into the Sabbat, as we move in, the sun is setting, for a lot of us, and we're going into that internal. So this is always fulfilling to close off the Sabbat with deliberation about what we do, about the way we do things, with everyone, and both family members and guests. So give thanks. I'm gonna read this one last comment. Chief says, look at it like this. If I, as a man, come home one day and lay 20K on the bed, and my woman says, where'd you get all that? She knows or thinks I am only 100 air. 100 air.
100 air.
you know, Never mind. Never mind. I'm like, yeah. We want to be 1,000 air. No, we want to be more than 1,000 air. We want to be millionaire.
We gonna like how we gonna flip
And
it?
100 air.
How we gonna flip it?
Right. That should be the question. All right. How we gonna flip it? Whatever you like. Right. Ooh, ooh, ooh. A big dog. um. She says she doesn't expect greatness from me. Right. If you surprise, you should
Mm-hmm.
be surprised.
Mm.
It should be like, let's dance in this. I wish I had some.
Oh God, you throwing some jewels down. Thank you, Chief. Oh, cause I
That
should.
same goes
Okay.
male to male too.
Yes.
Right. That should
Let
be
it rain.
let it rain.
Right. Yeah, because you said where you get all this, like how you like as if you couldn't get it. Thank you. You helping me, Chief.
Weren't
You
you
helping me
listening
right
in the
now.
discovery period? Why is this a question?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm getting help. Get things.
Yeah. Okay. So
All right, y'all.
back to the so give thanks everyone for joining us. As I said, it's always a pleasure to close down the strong, um with our family members deliberating on our culture. And we will see you next strong. The brothers will return, where they will still talk about parts of stage 2 as they get deeper into what happens in stage 2 of courtship. So give thanks. Shabbat Shalom for those of you who are moving into your Shabbat and trying to make sure you close down all your business for the strong. And we look forward to deliberating with you tomorrow for a new mishpacha. Deliberating with you tomorrow on Shabbat. We will be a bigger crew tomorrow, so that's going to be really exciting. So give
Oh
thanks.
God. Wait, hold on, Chief. How we gonna flip it? This here my money. I may later keep the Washingtons. You're so wrong.
What? I'm gonna end up.
Yes. On that note, click.
This here, my. You said this here. I just.
This here.
I can't. I'm having stomach pain.
Chief always gotta say something. You right though, Chief. You right. How we gonna flip it? Okay.
I may let her keep the Washingtons. We don't do Washingtons. The stack of money is gonna be hot. It's gonna be different profiles, not Washingtons. Washington's low profile. We want the ones that have higher profiles, like the the
Benjamins.
The Benjamin. We want Benjamin Franklin. We want some Jacksons, and I haven't seen above.
I ain't never seen it above a Benjamin.
But that's okay. That's okay. We are going to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we will.
Shalom, everyone. Shalom. So,
all right.
To our women's call, we got 2 minutes. Peace, everyone.
Right. Peace out.
Please leave all comments below. Remember, you can get your free copy of Our New Way on the Our New Life Global Ministries website at ournewlifeglobal.org. And
there you go. He's still keeping it up.
Don't look. Let me finish. Please make sure you check out all of the other awesome works by Chief Yuya. There's Noir Mail, Grasping the Roots of Divine Power, Solutions for Dysfunctional Family, The 14 Keys. There's also some smaller books, meaning like they are chock full of information. Don't think it's just because it's small. You're gonna be like, oh, I read it. There's
Noir Mail. Read Noir Mail, ladies. Read that.
And The Compass. So make sure you do ournewlifeglobal.org and all of those books, and where you can purchase the ones that are to be purchased. You can go to the website and find them there. Peace and shalom, everyone. Give thanks for joining us. This was fun. Those are
bootlegs.
I'm shutting it
down.
Bye,
bye, Chief. Give thanks, Chief. We love you, Chief. Peace out, Chief.